There's never been a better time to have SiriusXM. With even more exclusive content, with over 150 channels in your vehicle, including the widest, deepest variety of music, ad-free. Root for your team. Get news. Listen to whatever makes you laugh. And hear all about your favorite stars. Your Platinum Plan offer includes more than ever before to enjoy online, on your phone, or at home. Create your own ad-free personalized stations powered by Pandora. Hear ad-free extra channels filled with music and enjoy a favorite shows with SiriusXM Video. Thousands of hours of shows and performances on demand. What you love is on now.
Now, unbeknownst to many audio enthusiasts out there, pro audio has been on the rise, and there have been some brands that have dedicated themselves to really catering to this market. DB Drive is no exception, with an incredible assortment and catalog specifically catering to this pro audio market. And in fact, we're not only going to be talking about DB Drive, we'll also be talking about Euphoria, both brands with a huge catalog, and we're going to learn all about it today. This is CMA Connected, presented by SiriusXM, DB Drive, and it starts now. Welcome, everybody, to another CMA Connected, presented by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu, and we are discovering the pro audio sessions. That's right, dedicating our final sessions of the year to a category that for many have been flourishing for many years, and for others, they may be hearing about it for the first time. Well, don't worry, because the industry certainly has been aware of this category because they've been putting out products specifically catering to this genre. Let's go ahead and connect with our friends at Importel, who seem to have quite the catalog when it comes to the pro audio offering. Let's hear what Jaron Gelmalan has to say.
Hey, Ben, how's it going today?
How's my favorite 12-volt Viking doing today, sir?
I'm the only 12-volt Viking.
You're the only 12-volt Viking. This is true. So Importel happens to have quite the offering, in this pro audio category. We're going to be talking quite a bit this week about different products, but we've landed on DB Drive / Euphoria. Now, this is kind of new for you, I know, Jaron. Why don't you give us a little bit about your insight as to what you've discovered about the brand of late?
So pro audio, definitely, it's an emerging market, and just because you haven't tried something doesn't mean it's good. So certainly we can look to that. But I've started doing more research on pro audio. I'd say Importel has some of the biggest names in pro audio. It's an emerging category, and it's a very good category for us. And I've learned lots, and like the product lines and the differences in speakers. I think there isn't specific pro audio customers out there. There certainly is in Canada, but I think there's a bunch of customers that you could convert to pro audio customers. And I think shops should be aware of that. When they're watching these pro audio sessions, just because you're not doing it now, don't brush it to the side because you haven't tried it. I can think back into my days as installing, and I can pinpoint customers. If I would have known about this product, that would have been the perfect product for that customer, and it would have made them even happier than they already were with their system.
You're absolutely right. And I too am learning as I go through these product sessions that, this is a very specific type of product that's been designed to do a very specific purpose, right? Open air, live type of show sound. And when it comes to DB Drive and Euphoria, holy cow, do they have a huge catalog in this. I mean, these guys have been doing it for quite some time. And we're going to find out exactly a little bit about the history about all that and what the offering really is, because I think there's a little bit of crossover here, Jen. Correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, there is the pro audio stuff, but a lot of that stuff gets crossover into motorcycle, for example.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest uses definitely here in Canada is motorcycle, UTV side-by-side market for pro audio. And there is that crossover there. And I think it's kind of a stepping stone, and we'll let our friends from DB Drive talk on it a little bit more. But if if the Canadian market could end up like some of the southern United States market, where this is huge and really sought after, it'd be great for everyone. I think a resurgence of 12 volt.
It'd be fun at the very least, I'd say. I mean, if
Oh,
anything I've
for
learned, pro audio is fun, right? It's all
yes,
about the party.
it's definitely one of those fun categories.
100%. All right. Well, you mentioned him. Let's bring him in. He's standing in our back studio. We're going to reach out to DB Drive, where their international sales manager, Mr. Junior Garza, will be joining us. Let's bring Junior into the conversation.
Hey guys, how's it going?
What's going on, Junior? Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having us.
How can we not have you when we're talking about pro audio here on CMA Networks? I mean, you guys are kind of like one of the biggest brands in the category with a tremendous catalog. I guess my first question is, can you share with us a little bit about how DB Drive, like, did DB Drive start in pro? Like, what is the story? Why is it so big with DB Drive and Euphoria in that pro category?
Well, we didn't start in pro per se, but the reason we're really big in it is because we have a lot of customers in Latin America. And I don't know if you ever seen some of those crazy videos with walls and walls and walls of speakers. That's all pro audio stuff. And since we sell in America, I mean, it only made sense that we provide them with, the speakers that they need to do those type of things.
Very, very cool. Now, recently, SEMA just happened. You guys had a big showing at SEMA. Today, I know you and Jen are going to kind of go through and break down exactly what the offering is within the pro audio category. But I thought we'd start by kind of setting the mood with the video from SEMA and kind of show you guys what DB Drive is all about right now. So let's go with the video. All right, so a lot of cool examples there, and that whole concept, I seen that Bronco whereby you open the trunk and literally all the speakers are facing towards you. I mean, that guy or girl right there wants to be the party, right? They want to show up and be the party, and I think, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, Junior, this is kind of what pro is all about.
Correct. Yeah, like I said, it all started really in South America, basically. Your Brazilians and all that used to have basically what they call block parties. They used to all show up, all sync their music together, and I mean, just insane amount of speakers. And there's a lot of tricks to doing it right, and I think we pretty much got it dialed down now.
All right. Well, without further ado, let's go ahead and set you up, Junior. I know we have the website up. There's a lot to cover here because we are covering two different brands, both in DB as well as Euphoria, and we're going to let you explain that. So let's go ahead and bring up the website here.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, let's go ahead. Nope. I think you just took it off, Junior. Let's go ahead and add that again.
Yes. There we go.
There we go.
Now, basically, what we carry is a wide variety of tweeters. We have, and I know a lot of people say, well, so many tweeters. They all basically serve different purposes. They're all used in different formats and layouts on vehicles. For instance, let's say we have something like our P7 3M, which is, a tweeter looks very similar to the 3D, but the actual size is different. Same thing goes for the 3D and the P9 series, and then the regular P9M. Basically, what it is just sizes. We're trying to, adapt to everybody's, vehicle or wherever they may be putting them. And then we have our horn style tweeters, as well. We have our compression tweeters. We have just a little bit of everything.
Yeah, it seems like quite an array of tweeters, all different styles, all different mounting depths or applications in it, which is, I think, a huge merit for the brand that they've not only come out with pro audio tweeters, but many pro audio tweeters that they're thinking about different install applications for depth, and knowing that you can't fit a tweeter that's this deep into a door panel or into sail panels or pillars on vehicles, right, Junior?
Correct. And the reason for that is, like you said, it all depends on where you're going. Now, we took that same approach to all our mid ranges, and hold on, let me bring this up real quick. Our different variety of ranges. The same thing. We have everything that, from your what's supposed to be a mid bass to what's supposed to be a mid range. Even though they're very, very different, even though they look similar from the front, they're very, very different.
Yeah, they're different in the way, in the frequency response of the speaker, correct?
Correct. In other words, yes, your mid ranges will play way lower notes. They're going to play, they just perform differently. And like I said, what we wanted to do is we wanted to offer options for every type of customer or whatever they're trying to accomplish by what they're doing there. Now, hold on one second.
So what are the common sizes that you guys carry within the mid-range and mid-bass?
Within mid-ranges, we carry everything from your 6.5 and your 8, even up to a 10-inch mid-range. As far as mid-basses, we also have we carry all the way from your 6.5 all the way up to like a 12-inch mid-bass.
Wow.
Now I'm trying to bring up some of your mid basses here so you guys can check them out. But these are basically your up 10-inch, 12-inch mid basses that you can, put on any type of vehicle that you have, the room for. Now, a lot of people say, why would you use a mid bass in a vehicle and not a subwoofer? Or a lot of these people, what they're trying to accomplish is for you to be able to hear a low end in an open area. You can accomplish it with a subwoofer, but it's just much harder because anything honestly below 44 hertz in open area, it's very hard to hear. So all these speakers are meant to play, 45 and up, and it still gives you that deep tone, but in open area, you can actually appreciate it more.
Yeah, like we could definitely hear those lower tones when you have a subwoofer within a sealed car because of the refractions of the wavelength. You're hearing it bouncing off everything, but once you get outside below that 44 hertz, like you said, that the wavelengths are so long that they're not really catching you.
Correct. And that, like I said, that's what we're trying to accomplish here. So like I was showing you guys too on the tweeters, you have everything from your mini tweeter, which is extremely small, to your full size, which looks exactly the same, except it's maybe about 3 inches total. Whereas this one,
I like how you call that a mini tweeter.
Yeah.
In pro audio world, that's a mini tweeter. In car audio world, we got like little tiny tweeters.
Believe it or not, this is a mini horn compared to most aspects of it. And this thing is,
That's beefy.
And the difference between, of course, your standard tweeter and your horn is basically going to give you the full sound, all, it's more dispersed than you would something that's a compression or something that's more directional.
So your horn tweeter is definitely, you have a group, you're that widespread, you want people in the area to hear, not just directional in front of the vehicle or within the vehicle.
Correct. You would go with a horn. And the good things we offer a variety of horns. We have neodymium magnet horns. We have your standard, ferrite horns. We have a different variety of, like I said, of your tweeters, your pro audio tweeters. We have, you know, your basic pro audio tweeters all the way up to where if you want a bullet style tweeter, we have those as well. So from there, it's really, really all up to the application. Something that we're getting real big on is especially not only in the tweeter section, but in the mid range, we're starting to use a lot of neodymium for our magnets on most of our, mid ranges and components, and offering that option. Now, the cool thing also that we offer that not a lot of companies offer is that we also do packages. We'll do a package. I know we were talking about this the other day, but
Yeah.
we have a package where you have 4 mids, 4 tweeters. We have 4 mids, 2 tweeters. We have just different options, just depending on what type of vehicle you're installing it in, what you're trying to accomplish. We have a variety of things that get the job done for you.
Yeah, the packages are definitely a cool thing. I think I can't say I know of another pro audio brand that actually pieces together packages like that. Most of it's like buy a la carte, but that gives the opportunity to, like, okay, here's a package that you need for a vehicle, and whether you put that in 1 door panel, 2 door panels, half a door panel, it just gives you those options for install as well, right?
And the cool thing also about the packages is that they're really geared to work together. So you know that those packages are going to sound good because they've actually been, blended together to work perfectly for what you're trying to do.
So it has that overall blended frequency response across your speaker set.
Correct. Now, something else that I wanted to show you guys that's, something that we're not the only ones doing it, but it's something that's really big right now is we're offering sealed back mid ranges. Now, I don't know if you can see this on camera, but instead of having your openings, you basically have a sealed speaker. Now, why is this important? A lot of people are using pro audio speakers on rear deck lids. And the reason that you want to do that is that you don't want the subwoofers to basically overdrive the mid-range. So a sealed back is a perfect option for that.
Yeah, that's definitely a different application and something that you wouldn't necessarily think of unless you're fully immersed within that pro audio market. I think it just goes to show how in tune you guys are with that market, that most speaker manufacturers, when they're just looking at a physical speaker, wouldn't think about having subs mounted in the trunk and then having speakers across the rear deck and having that unwanted push of those speakers from the subs.
Correct. And not just that, they work very well like in your motorcycles, and where you want it to be kind of directional, that also kind of, faces them right at you when you put them in a fairing or wherever you may be mounting the speakers.
Any issues with venting or cooling having the sealed basket? Or?
No, actually they're meant to do that. I mean, they work well.
Perfect. Can you touch on, I know you guys have I have one here, probably popular in the motorcycle world, the coax, as we call it.
Oh, okay. Is that the WDX model?
Yeah. Or this is the EX6.
Okay, well, the EX6 is actually on our Euphoria line. I have one of those too. Now, there's different versions of that speaker. We carry one in a carbon fiber as well, not just we have paper cone. Now, you may ask why carbon fiber or why paper? Like I said, we have a little bit of different options for different people. The good thing on the expert line is that either one of the two, they're both coated for, for weather elements, basically. Now, carbon fiber, of course, is going to last a little bit longer. Now, the main difference is that carbon fiber makes the cone a little bit heavier, so they can handle a little bit more power. The cone doesn't flex, any of that stuff. Whereas the paper, with less power, you can get it to sound just as good, but it won't handle the high amounts of power. It still will, but the carbon fiber is better for that.
Certainly.
And then, of course, on the expert line, we offer, like I was saying, we have mid ranges as well, all neodymium magnets, paper cone. We have the same option in a carbon fiber, mid-range. And then we have all the way up to where, like I said, right now the big deal that everybody's doing is that they want to get bass out of their bikes or their open area vehicle. We carry mid basses that play lower frequencies than your mid range, and this will actually reproduce that bass sound that you guys want in open area. Now, not like I said, not to say that we don't do subwoofers, because we also do subwoofers. If you need a subwoofer, you got to have it. We do also carry them as well.
So you have the full gamut lineup.
We have a full lineup on it. We have also amplifiers in the Euphoria line. This is a 1,000-watt amp right here, and this is tiny if you look at it carefully. It's tiny amp. It's 1,000 watts. It's the cool thing about this is that it's full range. Now, the reason you want it to be full range is, let's say you want to throw 4 mid ranges or 4 component sets on there. You want it to basically play any frequency range, not just to be a mono amp. So it is a one channel, but it's full range one channel. Not to say that we do multi-channels as well that are full range and they're selectable and all that. But these are pretty cool because of the size. You can mount this on top of inside a fairing or inside a bag on a motorcycle or behind the seat of anything that you want to have, a lot of power, but in a small chassis.
Definitely cool. Could you give us a little breakdown for people new to DB and Pro Audio, just your kind of different levels that you have within even the DB Drive lineup? Obviously, there's different tier levels for power and the quality of the speaker output, everything. Could you give us a quick breakdown on some of the differences?
Sure. So we have, let's say in the DB Drive, as far as our mid ranges go, we have WDX 7, 8, and 9. Now, the main difference is your WDX 7 mid ranges are going to be, just that. They're going to be mid ranges, are available in 6-inch, 8-inch, and 10-inch. And then you have your WDX 8, which is going to be mid bass. Now, that'll play a lower frequency than your mid range, give you a little bit more of that deep, bass drum, all that type of thing. And we have that available in 6, 8, and 10 as well. Now, if you step up to the WDX 9 series, those are available only in 10s and 12s because that's a big mid bass. That's meant for your open area. You're going to have like a concert style setup in the back of your, let's say that Bronco that we saw. If you want bass in that open area, you use one of those. Now, we do kind of the same thing with our tweeters. We have WDX style tweeters as well, which I didn't get one with me, but they'll have different series as well. We'll have neodymium magnets. We'll have your standard tweeter. It's an oversized. It looks like a standard tweeter, but it's a little bit bigger to give to match up with those mid ranges. And then as far as the in the WDX 7 version, or I'm sorry, WDX 8, we also offer a neodymium, which is going to give you good mid bass, but it's a neodymium magnet, so that way you can fit it just about anywhere. So we carry a little bit of everything. We have different levels of it. Same thing goes for Expert on the Euphoria line. We try to have a little bit of everything just to make sure that all our customers are taken care of. And so basically, they fit anywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, you touched on the Euphoria and Expert line. So that's like Euphoria and Expert is the next tier up from the DB Drive. So that's the really high-end stuff.
And the cool thing about the Expert stuff is that it's all IP54, so it's all coded for your motorcycles, ATVs, stuff like that. We have some of that available in the DB Drive line, but in the Expert line, the speakers are all coded for it.
Perfect. So would you say that for motorcycle, the Expert line is kind of the go-to for most guys? Or
for most guys, yes. That is basically our main business in the Expert line. It's geared more towards motorcycles, more towards your side-by-sides. We got crazy amount of people putting them on slingshots. That's, like I said, we made it to where they're going to last outside. So that's what it's geared for.
Yeah, and you just look at the quality and some of the Euphoria stuff. I don't know if we can go big here. Me and Ben were talking earlier about the magnet structure of the neodymium magnets. If we can make this huge to show the motor structure of this 8.
Yeah, it's crazy how much power they can handle, and not just that, how well built those speakers are.
Yeah, like it's just a well built looking speaker that has some beef to it, and like that's an 8-inch coax.
And another cool option that we have in some of like the mid ranges is that if you notice that one right there is a cast basket. We offer stamp baskets to, for mounting purposes. Sometimes the stamp basket, since it cones out further in quicker, so you require that to be able to mount it in certain bikes and stuff like that. So in a lot of the mid ranges, not only do we offer the cast, we offer stamped as well.
So we can compare the 6 to the 8 there.
Yeah.
Just great looking speakers.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure you'll be more than impressed with the output and sound of the speakers for sure.
And the efficiency on it. That's the main thing with Pro Audio. A lot of people, say, "Oh, it's loud." And well, the good thing about the Pro Audio is that it's always been geared to where even with not a lot of power, they still sound good. They still sound loud. That's mainly where the Pro Audio stuff came from. That's why you see some guys that are running, 30 speakers on one amplifier, one high-powered amp. It's because their efficiency is so good and their reproduction of sound is so good that you do that with those type of speakers.
What would you say the average sensitivity of like your Pro Audio line of speakers is?
It depends really because they're very, very different. But we have stuff that's as sensitive as 103, 102. It just depends on which speaker you're going with.
Yeah, there's obviously some changes or different motor structure, different cone weights, everything.
Correct.
And
like I said, the cool thing is having the different options between your paper cone and your carbon fiber cone. It actually does make a big difference in sound. A lot of people, the carbon fibers handle a ton of power, but like me personally, I love the sound of the paper cone. It just reproduces more accurately. It's just preference over anything. But we have the option for anybody that's trying to make that choice. We have it.
Yeah, like if you drop down on the tab there, if you can drop down on the Pro Audio tab just to show the complete range that you guys have. We've seen some of the options, but between like the Pro Audio, between the mid ranges, amplifiers, tweeters, and then your horn and compression drivers, and that's not even some of the kits that you guys have.
Correct. That's just in our DB Drive line. We still have the Euphoria line, which has a lot of stuff available as well.
So I've heard a lot of claims from people that Pro Audio doesn't sound as good. Can you put those people at ease, maybe?
All I could say is that the Pro Audio is great sounding. All you got to do is just a good processor. You got to give it what it needs first, and then after that, it's always going to sound good. It has a lot to do with tuning. The main issue is a lot of people try and tune your Pro Audio just like you would a standard component or a standard speaker. That's not going to work in this case. It's very different. You got different frequency ranges, that you got to adjust for your mids and for your tweeters and all that. So it's just you just got to know how to play with them. That's all it is. I can tell you this: I used to be a big fan of components, and everything that I have right now has Pro Audio in it. It plays loud. It sounds good. It's you can put together a nice little component and have it to your liking, just playing around with the different speakers that you have available.
So what would be kind of a recommendation that you would have for someone that hasn't hasn't jumped into the pro audio market, if they're brand new for the pro audio market, let's say I have a customer that I have in mind that they're craving loud. They've been through speaker sets, and they're the type of person that blows speaker sets because they want that loud output. What
I
would
would personally say get them a nice, a match of your mids with your tweeters. Just let them hear the difference in let's say the front doors of a vehicle. I can guarantee you they'll never go back to your standard speakers again.
So you say like you could do a component set, just start out, because I think a lot of people when they think of pro audio, they think of these big massive builds, correct? It's
Correct.
it's like, oh, I got to put 8 speakers in the door to make it a pro audio
Oh
build.
no,
But
no, you don't.
I think the difference in what definitely I've learned in learning more about the pro audio uh, and the different brands is that it can be the same as like your traditional car audio.
Correct. You could literally hide a whole pro audio system behind door panels if you wanted to. It's not hard to do it. It's a standard 6.5. It's just 6.5. I would grab if you have a guy that's really on the wall about it. Grab a set of paper cone 6.5 pro audio speakers. Match it up with a real nice horn tweeter, something that's not going to be overbearing, but just let him hear it. Not only is he going to be surprised with how much louder it is, he's going to be surprised with how clear it sounds as well. That's the cool thing about pro audio. It's not only loud. If you dial those things in, I mean, they're super clean as well.
And still add a DSP, right? Everything needs
I
a DSP.
personally recommend a DSP. You really don't have to, but I always like it because you can really dial in a system with a DSP. And the good thing is that in the Euphoria line, we make a DSP. We have a 6-channel in, 8-channel out DSP, so you can literally tune your tweeters, your mid ranges. If you have mid basses, you can tune everything separately, so that way they're only reproducing the sound that they're meant to reproduce.
Perfect. I think that answers a bunch of my questions on it. As far as the car segment, I want to touch a little bit on motorcycle because I think it's a market here in Canada that I think we'd see more growth in pro audio. What are you seeing as a common trend? Because I know you're down in Texas. Motorcycle market is huge down there. It helps that you guys can ride year round, obviously.
Yeah,
We got 2 feet of snow up here. It's hard to ride a motorcycle in that. But what common trends are you seeing within pro audio and the motorcycle market?
Well, a lot of people are using like basically that component that you had in your hand with the compression driver in the middle. A lot of people are using these in the front of fairings. We have a matching set of 6x9s that can go in the bags. I mean, all you really need is those 4 speakers and a good amp to power them all up. And I mean, it's insane how much sound you can get out of a motorcycle, even with the loud exhaust, with everything being the way it is. I mean, you can literally hear those guys coming, even with the loud exhaust or whatever they have.
Yeah, I think the traditional car audio speakers, once you get into some of these louder Harleys, for sure, they just don't keep up. And then I've heard a few of the pro audio bikes at shows, and I'm just blown away by how loud and clear they are. I'm sure it looked like you guys had a fun booth at SEMA. Made me a little sad watching that video that I wasn't there. But
yeah, we
there
definitely had some fun. I can tell you that.
There was some impressive builds with the DB product. Looked like some impressive bikes, and it looked like a lot of fun. Like let's be honest, pro audio is a fun category that I've seen. It's
correct.
It's a
and
party.
the thing of it is that not only do you want to be loud, because anybody can be loud, you want it to be clean. You want to reproduce sound the way it's supposed to be reproduced. Not loud. Like I said, anybody can be loud. You throw enough speakers on anything, it's getting it to sound good is and the good thing is that we have product to do that with.
Certainly, your guys' product line is huge. It's not like you guys have just jumped in and made a few pro audio speakers. It's like, no, we want solutions for every customer out there.
No, we're
Maybe
we're
we'll
committed to it. That's for sure.
bring Ben back here. See if we'll rack Ben's brain, see if he's come up with any good questions. I know he's learned about a bunch about pro audio recently as well, and he wants to. I just want to build systems now after everything. It's like I want to try everything out. It's fun and exciting. It's like, can I put a whole bunch in the trunk of my car, just open it up and
I
make all my
mean,
neighbors mad?
the sky's the limit with this stuff, so you can do whatever.
I've seen that the sky's the limit.
Yeah,
Whatever
I
your
mean,
imagination can make, you
I've
can
seen it
put it
done
in
in
a
the back
car.
of pickup beds where the beds tilt, and that's their whole. It's basically a whole enclosure. It's crazy the stuff that they do with it.
Well, even like that Bronco looked super impressive, and
Yeah, that
some
guy
of those
and
builds.
that Bronco's a working Bronco. I believe I'm not sure if he drove it all the way from Texas, but I know he's at all the car shows. I mean, that thing works, and it's not only loud; it's a good looking vehicle too.
Yeah, it's super impressive.
Yeah,
SEMA was the year of the Bronco this
it
year
sure
for
was.
sure. I'm
It
sure there
sure
was
was.
just Broncos everywhere, and I think that was probably the loudest one.
Yep, and believe it or not, so were the Ford Mavericks and stuff like that. So a lot of the little the niches that we had before, uh, they're coming back. Basically, you know how they say the styles come back. I think a lot of that's coming back with the big speakers in the bed, the everything, all that stuff is coming back again.
That's perfect. I want fun and excitement back in car audio. I think that's what's missing out of it.
Well,
Everyone's
yeah, I
just
think the fun and excitement is in pro audio is exactly what it is. And you're totally right. Motorcycle kind of is where pro audio is at right now, Jared, in Canada. But I think, again, I'm going to say this. I keep on saying this. As long as the dealers can figure out that there is this type of gear out there, and that they can identify who the customer is, and they connect those dots together, there's going to be some fun things happening, and happy customers, most importantly, especially when there's brands like DB and Euphoria that offer the range of products that they do. You were talking about different vehicles at SEMA. I know there's another video here that we want to play. And this one happens to be a Gladiator. What's so special about this Gladiator here?
That Gladiator has some of our new G7 product that we'll be introducing basically in January, February. The G7 stuff is just really high powered, crazy over the top type of product. For now, we're offering amplifiers and woofers in it, but the only thing that could keep up with it was pro audio mids and components and all that other stuff. So if you notice, you'll see a bunch of the WDX mid ranges and tweeters all over that Jeep, and that's the only way we can make it keep up with those 5 massive 15s that we put in the bed of that truck.
5 15s. That's not fun at all.
Yep.
That's not fun.
On
All
a
right,
Gladiator.
let's take a look at this Gladiator video from DB Drive. Super cool. More fun stuff from DB Drive. All right. While we have you here, let's just wrap this up. At the end of the day, the question I was burning to ask is, as a dealer, how do I separate the difference between DB Drive and Euphoria? What's the best way to explain that?
Okay. Mainly the difference is that Euphoria is more geared towards your motorcycle stuff. It really is our flagship product. We That's the only product that all the mid ranges and tweeters are all using neodymium magnets. It's more of for your high end customer that really wants the best. That's what I would recommend. DB Drive is just as good. I'm not taking nothing away from it. DB Drive works well. It's great. It's same thing. We have plenty of options for any customer there. And then of course we have the good things. We have entry level stuff too. To that guy that's just starting out and wants something loud, super loud. Like I was showing Jaron, we have the packages that come 4 mid ranges, 4 tweeters. You can get a pack, slam it in any vehicle, and I mean you're with a good little amplifier, you're instantly loud.
All right. Now you said a key word here. I wrote this down. What exactly constitutes as a pro audio amplifier? I get the drivers, I get the tweeters, the mid ranges, the mid basses, but I noticed that on your offering there is pro audio amplifiers as well. So what constitutes as a pro audio amplifier? How would that be different from any other amplifier?
They're very, very high powered for one, and then second is the crossover on it. The reason we call them pro audio is because a lot of these crossovers on those amplifiers will have special features that we don't offer on just any amplifier. For one, they'll have they'll all be full range, so you can either set them up for low pass, full range, high pass. And then the cool thing is that this is something that only DB really really specializes in. We have band pass on these amplifiers. Now, what band pass is something that's pretty cool that not a lot of people have gotten into yet. But what it does is that it lets you cut off ranges on your amplifier. Like instead of it being to where it'll just go down to this. Now, when you do the adjustments, it'll go down to this, but it'll go as high as this. So you have that frequency range playing. That's why we call them pro audio amplifier, because you want every channel or every pair of channels to be able to reproduce a certain frequency ranges from their from.
Are they typically more high output than the standard amplifiers?
They typically are, yes. They have to be, because a lot of these people are putting tons of speakers on one channel. So
does that
yes,
mean they play lower impedance as well?
Yes, most of them will. Like this monoblock this is just our Euphoria. We're redoing or remapping the ones in DB Drive, but this right here is 1 ohm stable, but it's a mono amp, but it plays full range. So it's a mono full range amplifier, but it still has your crossover. So you can play it with, a set of your 6.5, or you could do 4 of them. It'll do a variety of things. Most of the time, everybody hears mono and they say, "Oh, that's a bass amp.
Mm-hmm.
That's
That's a subwoofer amp," and it's not. This is full range as well.
Okay, very, very cool. Jaron, did you have anything to add?
No, I think we did a good job of covering the lineup. I think people should dive in and do some digging on the full lineup like I have and learn about it. And maybe you'll branch into a customer and market that you don't already have an offering for.
Very, very cool. Junior, I want to thank you for coming in today and kind of sharing with us some insight. I know you guys are like knee deep into it. Us over here, we're still learning about it and we're trying to catch up. But it's good to know that you the guys at DB Drive and Euphoria have the product to be able to support whichever way this whole thing goes with pro audio. Yeah. So appreciate that.
All right, thank you for having us.
Take care, Junior. All right, Mr. Jaron. Let's go here. So, Jaron, at the end of the day, I think you and I agree on one thing, and that is that this is up and coming. The products are definitely out there. It's not like the market is demanding more, and the products aren't there. They're there. I think if we're talking specifically our Canadian demographic, there's a lot of education to be had there, to be done rather.
Yes, certainly there's a lot of education. Like I'm relatively new to it. You're relatively new to it, Ben, but I've heard it before, and that's the one thing that has kind of steered me that direction. And doing more research on it, and I'm like, there's a customer base for it. Just because your personal preference isn't there or you haven't heard it doesn't mean that people out there haven't heard it.
And that's the key message. So important.
The thing to remember is, have you heard pro audio drivers? I think most people have heard pro audio drivers. They just don't realize it. Like if you've ever been to a concert.
I'll be honest, I have not heard what you were referring to as that pro audio bike setup yet. I've heard front speakers done, but I haven't, like what Junior was showing, like I haven't had the opportunity to hear that yet. And I have a feeling that's going to blow my mind.
Yeah, I think pro audio speakers in a motorcycle, I think that's the biggest push I think we got to do right now. I'm sorry to Fidelity speakers in motorcycles, but when that bike is at 100 dBs at idle, you need something that's going to keep up to it. And I think this is looking into the pro audio segment for that is the perfect product for those customers to be able to hear that. And like Junior said, throw that sound at you. You need to on a motorcycle to really throw that sound.
All right. Well, Junior was on the website earlier. If you want to find out more, get over to dbdrive.net. That is the website. Pretty much you saw all the SKUs, amplifiers, speakers, drivers, mid-ranges, all of it right there. And if you happen to be in Canada, well, hit up Jaron and his team over at importel.com to be the newest DB Drive or Euphoria dealer in Canada. How's that? All right.
Perfect.
Good one, Jaron. We'll see you on the next one, buddy.
Thanks, Ben.
Take care. All right, we are really getting close to the end of our broadcast season, but I want to remind you of a couple of things. The first thing is we are talking about pro audio these next few days. It's an emergent segment. There's a couple of players that really have some great product in there. DB Drive, of course, one of them. Stay tuned here on CMA Networks until November 17th for pro audio. Now, only a couple days left, less than a week, in fact, to sign up for our MasterTech Expo contest. Head over to cmanetworks.com/giveaway. And we are drawing 2 lucky winners, one from the US and one from Canada, for an all-inclusive trip to MasterTech Expo in Mesa, Arizona in the spring, March, in fact, of 2023. cmanetworks.com/giveaway. And while you're there, obviously check out all the great videos from either Importel or from DB Drive right on cmanetworks.com. It's where the 12-volt industry connects. That's it for this one. Thank you for tuning in for this CMA Connected presented by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu. Until next time, we connect.
I mean, yeah, let's talk about
Stop it.
Today when we go
Yo,
topics.
roll it down.
I am.
You don't need a car to listen to SiriusXM. You can listen anywhere. You know that, right?
What? Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio.
Kevin, you could use your phone.
What? What?
Alexa, play Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio on SiriusXM.
What?
This is how I know you're getting old. I guess that was it.
What?